before we even start recording, I just want to say fuck an intro. I'm done with this shit. We're going straight into it. First thing, Jordan Travis. Sorry about the injury, man. He was one of my favorite college players. I really thought he had a Heisman shot.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna come back even better next time. But we are NFL place, and there's three disgruntled fans in here from three different teams. And I got a lot to get off my chest. And just because I feel like it, I'm going to start it off. So, the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers fans, if you guys want to hear the reason that your team is so bad, I want you to first go down to the bottom of this video, like and subscribe, hit any button to stay notified. But the real reason the Chargers are so sorry every single week, abysmal, they can't win any of these games, is because they're a team with no identity. They've been a team with no identity. I have said this. I said this last year. If you guys still want to check it out, I think the video is titled "Why Tom Telesco and Brandon Staley are going to ruin Justin Herbert's career." I've been told I wasn't excited for this year at all because I knew what was going to happen, and now we're seeing it. Tell me if I'll ask all you guys, if the Niners were going to go up against the Packers, like what do you guys think the outcome would have been?
The Niners against the Packers? Yeah. Niners should win that game easily. Cover whatever spread it is. Chiefs should walk them as well, especially with their defense.
If the Eagles go up against the Packers,
Eagles should dog walk them.
Now, in terms of talent, there's some people who say that who will say that Chargers are nowhere close in talent to any of those teams. But personally, from looking at the roster, just the eye test, there is enough talent on that team where I feel like they should be at least close to the upper echelon of the teams in the NFL, and they have consistently underachieved, like every single season. Like this team has aspirations for themselves, not even the fans, for themselves, the Super Bowls every single year. Like Brandon Staley says, it's a step-by-step process, but at the end of it, it's supposed to end in February. And we damn near, we may not make it to December. It's getting bad early, man. Like,
I'll build off of that. Where you definitely have a point is you have a QB that should be on the echelon of the QBs of the teams that you just named. Herbert was the highest graded quarterback according to PFF this past week against the Packers. You shouldn't be losing to teams like the Packers when you have a QB at that. And also, it wasn't the defense's fault that they lost that game. And quickly, to all of our fans out there, Brendan, welcome. First time, been a long time coming, winner of our fantasy league last year.
Happened.
And our Pittsburgh correspondent by many names.
Oh, well.
But we'll call him Joe. Joe, long time coming as well. Thank you for stopping in. As also, I'm pain, misery, suffering, etc. Justin the Jets fan. But you all know that. Bruce is here. Brandon, you already said your piece, and I feel you.
Rando Jr. the Mole.
Yeah, I'm in true pain.
But last thing on the Chargers, Brandon Staley, if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, I think he knows it. Everyone knows it. He's going to end up getting fired.
He should be canned today.
I feel like they don't have any role players. That's the problem. Like they got
they
got big stars, but like you look at like
this isn't the Philadelphia 76ers, bro. Like this is
but you can have your stars, but you gotta have guys that like dependable, like these.
Bro, this is the
Joe's
best.
a Sixers fan.
I'm a Sixers fan.
Look at that. Look at that. You guys are friends already.
Nah, it's
he's right though. Listen, he's got a point. Listen, when you have that much talent, Joel Embiid, Toby, you had Jimmy Butler at one point in time. You have all these guys you can't figure it out. Chargers can't figure it out. What's Rex
no role play
this morning that Brandon Staley needs to go back to D3.
Brandon said, and like the thing about it is, it's like this stain has been on the Chargers since before. I feel bad for Brandon Staley too because he's a rookie head coach. That the expectation was to fix this organization. And this organization has been broken since 2004 when Marty Schottenheimer got fired after a 12-4 season. This organization has been broken. And you're going to need a guy to step in. That's why everyone's hoping for Sean Payton, a person who's going to overhaul the whole entire thing. going to bring some type of credibility, some type of lineage into the organization. Someone with a past. Like right now, are the way the Chargers are known are for blowing games, barely making it out the playoffs. Like there's no they're identityless. There's nothing on the team. They have no attitude. There's nothing.
Because I feel like besides like your top play, like Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, who else is getting the ball?
I mean,
Like,
Austin Eckler fumbled at the 1 yard line.
Well, you're gonna double cover him at the end of a game and no one else getting the ball because they can't. They're not
Quentin
doing
Johnson dropped a wide open touchdown.
I mean, like I think your second top receiver has less than 400 yards.
But
That's not good.
Oh, Mike Williams got hurt.
Yeah, that's not good though. Like I think was it Josh Palmer has?
Yeah, well, Josh Palmer's he's hurt too.
We also
That's
took a
your
receiver
second.
in
That's
round
your
one.
second top receiver. Like
That's
that's
a
your,
receiver in round one, and he's virtually
like you're the tight
not
end.
contributing whatsoever.
Yeah, the tight end position is basically non-existent on that team.
Shout out down upon him.
bro, the offense, like, bro, Justin Herbert and Eckler and Keenan Allen, I'm not saying like it's kind of enough for you to do something, and Justin Herbert himself is enough for you to do something. That defense is subpar, bro. Y'all need a corner. I need a corner bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's on Tom Telesco, who I've been
y'all got
crying,
like,
bro. I've been on this whole
players out
entire
there.
thing crying for him to get fired for the last 3 years, and they're still holding on to this dude. The JC Jackson signing was a bust. They could have used that money anywhere else. They could have drafted a cornerback instead of Quentin Johnson so far, because Quentin Johnson has lost us more games than he's won us so far.
Banks.
You could have taken any wide receiver
Else. Anyway, Jordan
outside
Addison.
of JSN.
Zay
You could have
Flowers.
had Jordan
Zay Flowers
Addison.
is
You
a
could have
dog.
had Zay Flowers. They both are contributing right now.
Yeah.
And
Those
you
are
have
guys
Q. Yeah.
They would complement Keenan Allen better, is what I'm
So
saying.
far,
Like,
we
you have
have-
two guys you could throw the ball to.
So far, it's a Jalen Reagor, Kadarius Toney situation. Like this is
It's looking like that. Like this
Mhm.
is it's early. It's early. He's only played however many games. Like, well, we're going into week 12 now after
Mhm.
week 11, but early on, especially in today's league, when wide receivers come in and make an impact day one, it's
Impact.
not looking good. It's just not looking.
Mhm.
No, sorry, it sucks. They should have probably drafted. I thought Zay and Jordan were better fits. I never full on understood the pick. I guess maybe
Mhm.
Herbert. I knew Herbert likes throwing to guys like him. I think.
bigger receivers.
Yeah, but it's not like he's only 6'2". He's not a contested catch threat.
Yeah.
And
Well-
now he's showing drop issues. He doesn't separate good enough, and that it's just showing his head early, and it's not good.
The thing about Herbert, he throws with batted balls and everything. He throws with a low arm angle, so it's very easy for him to get his balls batted down. So he likes bigger targets because it allows him to throw the ball a little bit higher. Yes, I don't know, but that was my whole entire TED talk. Subscribe, ladies, and I'm gonna go on mute and let the other two vent real quick, and I'll be back for ad-libs.
Joe, do your thing. How about them Steelers right now?
How about
How
the
we feel?
Steelers? Okay, hold on. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. So 15 for 28 for 106 yards and a 62.5 rating. Like, what? I mean, Najee had 12 rushes for 35 yards.
Mhm.
Like, they gave the ball to Warren 9 times for 129 in a long tutty. I mean, 74 yards, 75 yards. Deontay was targeted 8 times, had 2 receptions for 16 yards. And mind you, 77% of Matt Canada's routes are outside the numbers. They use 26% of the time play action off of detailed runs that are successful. That's worse than the league. When you run that kind of offense, you're not gonna win. Kenny Pickett might not be the answer. He's not good. He's average. He doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, that's to start with. But usually, these young guys like that are throwing picks, making bad decisions. He hasn't made the best decisions. The kid needs to step up in the pocket more, learn to take a hit once in a while and deliver one, right into somebody's chest, like a big boy quarterback does, like Herbert does, or something like that. I saw a video actually of they were showing Herbert in the pocket. I think they were playing maybe the Raiders or the Ravens or something like that. I'm colorblind, so forgive me. And he was getting rushed, in the way he stepped up in the pocket. It was so fluid when he threw the ball and just the way he delivered it. And then you watch Kenny against the Texans, and it's like a man running for his life. You know, I mean, you got to calm down. You got to deliver a ball, and then you have to. I mean, you can't run an offense that's built for a 1970s style team.
starting-
I mean, you know, you're running a crack toss off the right side where you got Deontay Johnson blocking an end. I mean, you got to be kidding me, right? Like, who calls it? Who does?
Oh,
it?
so we're not the only team that does dumb shit like that.
No, you're not. You're
Glad to
not.
hear that.
No, you're
I'm
not.
glad to hear that. We're not.
And you
we
watch
put-
that every
okay.
week, right? And you're like, what?
Oh, I watch
why
it
are
every fucking
you?
week. Why is CJ
Like-
Uzama blocking Max Crosby?
Yeah, like what does it make sense? That shouldn't be a thing. I mean, look, man, it's again,
Yep.
Kenny might not be the answer, but okay. So I had a friend of mine, another Pittsburgh correspondent by way of Wisconsin, if you know who I'm talking about here, Justin.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
There's a guy named Mark Whipple. He was an offensive coordinator at Pitt when Kenny had, you know, his successful seasons. Broke all of Dan Marino's records. Here's another trickle. He was the quarterbacks coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers from 2004 to 2006. All 3 years, Big Ben was his starter, and that was his first 3 years. So if you really take a look at that guy, and that's where Kenny blossomed, and you go get a guy like Byron Leftwich, who was a Steeler, maybe they can build an offense where it caters to Kenny Pickett and can work. And if it doesn't, fuck it, man. Throw off the rails and go get some kid that looks sweet in college. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is. It's just you can't. You're not gonna. I mean, after 3 years of 20 points per game, I don't know how anybody can blame any quarterback. I mean, there's been 5 different quarterbacks that have been in the system now. Hodges, what's his face? Mitch, Money Mitch. Gotta love Money Mitch. What's
Mason
his
Rudolph.
name? Oklahoma State.
Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph.
Mhm.
I mean, you
I
throw all
liked
these
him in
guys
college.
and like, man, and none of them work.
Yeah, he had
It's-
a big arm at a college, and they don't let him use it. They don't let anybody use it in that system.
No,
It's all screens and slants. It doesn't work. It's
and
predictable.
you know what? Here's the thing: it's not even all slants. What they do is they do these stupid little out routes where they do
Mhm.
like a 10-yard corner and then they do like a little 5-yard out. Well, when you're stacking guys on top of each other like that, you have nowhere to throw the football.
Mhm.
So now Kenny's running for his life, and then don't forget he plays in the AFC North where he plays Baltimore 2 times a year, and the Browns 2 times a year. And he's just gonna get his ass slaughtered. When I don't know if you guys watched any of the highlights, but Dan Moore, the left tackle, got eaten alive yesterday by Myles Garrett. The dude's the best end in the league. I mean, you can't let that happen. Somebody's got to double team him. Somebody's got to do something at least. I mean, I don't know what you guys think when you watch Kenny Pickett. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but I mean, I don't know how you can think anything of him when that offense is so inept at play calling.
I think it's every level. I don't think he's good enough to overcome things. I don't think the offensive staff is good enough to overcome things. I think the line is shaky at times. Broderick Jones looks solid, the first round pick that you guys had this year. It's broken to a certain degree. Do I think it's broken to the same level that the Jets offense is right now? No, but it's still broken, and it definitely needs fixing.
I mean, yes, they're like bottom 5 in every important statistic: passing yards, completions, touchdowns, yards per reception, yards per attempt. It's just it's flat. It's flat. They do nothing with the football. I think, what was it, like 3 weeks ago? They didn't get past the 50-yard line.
Yep.
Once. They don't move the ball. It's a 3-and-out machine. It's tough.
How
to watch.
they-
Did you guys win that game? Because that
What-
seems like the game that you guys didn't pass the 50. Because I feel like that's some shit the Steelers would do. They would still end up winning that game.
No, we didn't.
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think they got beat
'Cause
badly.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing too. Outside of this loss, I feel like they win all these close games, but then their
Mhm.
losses are pretty bad. Like
Yeah.
the point differential,
Well,
it's definitely not.
And the Steelers fans that are like, Mitch should start. Mason should start. Yeah, Mitch should start after he threw 2 interceptions in 2 quarters
Mhm.
against Jacksonville. Yeah, we should put that guy. We should put Mason in when he's throwing multiple picks and got his head dented in by Myles Garrett. I'm pretty sure I still see the dent in his chrome dome when he walks out on the field.
Do you see him
Like,
pick
you
up
know
that?
what I mean? Like
How long has Matt Canada been the OC?
3 years.
3
Mhm.
years. I mean, the way they still call plays, it's like they still have Matt Filer, David DeCastro, Villanueva. Like that offensive line about 5-6 years ago was the best in the league, hands down.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the same, but in today's NFL, they have the defense to do it when TJ Watt's healthy. I'm not gonna lie, but you're not gonna beat any of these teams.
You need an O-line.
Yeah, unless
TJ only had 1 sack. They got no pressure yesterday.
Mhm.
Yeah, teams
I mean,
they can
There's
adjust.
ways to scheme around shit like that.
Yeah, even with a
You can scheme around bad offensive lines. It just depends on if you're able to or not. And it also comes down to sometimes can the quarterback get the ball out in time? Can your receivers separate in time? And I think that's the thing too is
Personnel.
Kevin. Personnel. Kevin
Mhm.
Stefanski's a better offensive play caller than Matt Canada. He's gonna
Mhm.
scheme around his line. Joe, we've talked about it multiple times throughout the year when we've talked that these long developing plays behind a bad offensive line.
Yeah,
They just don't
and
work.
Like
But I
you
feel
don't have time to do these things.
Yeah, I feel like you just gotta like have the right playbook for your quarterback though too. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, look at Dallas for example. It seems like Dak Prescott's having like a resurgence season kind of. He's not turning the ball over, more yards per attempt. They're getting more touchdowns. They're getting down the field better because they switched up the whole offense. If you look at the play, I mean, I think they talked about it. They call it like the Texas Coast offense or something like
and then
corny like that.
their
But
old OC.
they did that, and he's moving the ball like.
Less dangerous throws for him to make.
He looks
I
way
know
more
that's a-
comfortable in the pocket. All that.
That's a gripe I have, I think, with some offensive play callers in the league, or just coordinators, or even some offensive head coaches, is that some of these guys, it's their system is going to work. You're going to play in my system. It's going to be like this, and so on. I'm smart,
Mm-hmm.
and there's definitely like a little ego part to it. And then there's some guys, and these are the guys that are the most successful, is they're going to play to their quarterback strength. They're going to play to the team strength.
I know.
And I don't think that excuses bad quarterback play at times. Like, but the coaching doesn't help sometimes.
Well, DTR, 2 seconds, I think, or 2.5, 2.3,
Yeah.
something like that time on average to get rid of the ball. Like
2.5 is the league average.
Scheme.
Mhm.
Yeah,
What
I
you
mean,
need.
he schemed so well. And then I think is his name Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator for
Oh,
Cleveland.
the best coordinator. Him and Brian Flores are two of the
Hey,
best
shout out Lou from the
hires
Mm-hmm.
that
Like Flores a lot.
teams have made this past off season.
Bears.
I mean, he did. I mean, he did such a good job at. I mean, some of the blitz packages, and mind you, okay, have you ever watched a right guard pull to block on a pass play? No, I didn't think so. That's what Matt Canada did. So when you do stuff like that, like you can't expect things to happen. I mean, look, I don't like a guy like Kyler, for example, with Arizona. He's just coming back. He had a nice little game against Houston, didn't get the win, but he played pretty decently enough. You know what I mean? Put up decent numbers, and I think everybody's worried about Kenny Pickett putting up numbers. He keeps saying it like, oh, I want to be a guy that puts up numbers. I mean, does anybody care when you put up 190 passing yards, complete 70% of your passes, score a touchdown, and win a football game, 21, 60? No, nobody gives a crap.
You're winning the game.
At the end of the day, and I mean, that's what he was doing, and you lose yesterday, and you look at things to point out at, but I mean, again, when you run the football like 21 times and 12 of them are to a guy that runs the ball 2 yards a gain, and I get it, power back, but yeah, it doesn't work, man.
I got my Najee complaints out before. It's so with Najee, the only reason I know Jaylen Warren, there's a higher chance of injury if you just run him to the ground every single time. But even in he's the most explosive. Him and Calvin Austin, who I haven't heard his name in like 3 months. Like it feels like since the what was it, the Monday night game or one of the first few games of the season.
He caught that big touchdown.
Yeah. You guys have 2 big play potential players, and Jaylen Warren. Honestly, he reminds me of old Austin Eckler. Get the ball in his hands as many times as possible and hope that he's going to make a play, make a big time play. Same thing with George Pickens too. But I understand you don't want to go jump balls all the time, but it's like you guys are playing Deontay Johnson. Y'all are playing prohibition football, man. Like 20s.
Well, that's the thing too. Like you said, when you got a guy like George Pickens, I mean, they I don't know the stat, but somebody find out there. Freaking, they got to complete 70% of his back shoulder throws, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he turns his body and he gets that ball, and there's nobody that could stop George Pickens from doing that.
He's got good
Even
hands.
the Packers
He's got great hands.
Packers target Christian Watson like 8-9 times a game. He catches about 3 of them, but like 3 catches for Christian Watson could be about 80, 90 yards on a good day. Like you got to target those type of players and hope they can make a play for you. I know the God, what am I thinking? field position game. It's like it's a very important thing, and that's how the Steelers play. You'd rather have your team have the other team start another possession inside the 20-yard line. It's a better shot at getting good field position, field goal to field goal. But in the playoffs, you'll get flooded like that.
It's also just not. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Shit like that. I will say for the Steelers, their upcoming schedule, you have a lot of backup quarterbacks. They can still rattle off some wins the way they've been doing it. Like I know they just lost a nil by the Browns, and the Browns have arguably the best defense in the NFL. They are the best defense by certain metrics. So it's not. The season's not over. I know it probably feels that way after a heartbreaking loss like that, but they still can be the 6th or 7th seed, I think, because that's just what Mike Tomlin usually does.
That's a tough
they could
conference.
easily be
though.
11-6 off of just terrible quarterbacks, Jake Browning, and yeah, I mean easily. It just makes sense.
They're
Yeah.
still in a playoff spot though, right?
Yes,
yeah.
they're 6th seed, right?
Yeah, they're like the last team in, or whatever.
One
I
of
think 'cause
they're
the
either
Bills.
6th or 7th.
Yeah, I know the Bills are knocking on the door, but
Yeah,
Bills
I think the Bills. I think the
think that
Bills will end
they-
again, man.
yeah, because they haven't had a bye week yet, right?
Yeah, no, their bye's coming up. Even though
That's-
the Bills schedule's tough though.
Yeah, they got some tough. I think what they got the Eagles, the Chiefs.
They got the Eagles, Chiefs up there. They play
Dallas,
Miami again at the end of the year.
Miami.
Dallas,
That's
and I know they beat the
4
shit
Super
out of
Bowl
Miami
contenders.
early, but
hmm
I
Miami's
think
different.
Miami wins that division,
yeah.
and I think
Miami's
it makes sense that they end up splitting at the end of the year. Maybe that game at the end of the year is for the division. Who knows? It honestly depends how Miami plays the rest of the way and how Buffalo plays with their upcoming schedule. Can
Do
I
they have an
vent?
offensive coordinator yet?
Buffalo, it's Joe Brady. I mean,
Joe
called
Brady's
a pretty
pretty
good game. He called a pretty good game against the
yeah.
Jets.
They played well.
Yeah.
Joe
Gets a
Brady,
good
I know
defense.
they took again. They did what Dallas did against them. That's if you're gonna beat the Jets defense, you gotta do what Dallas did week 2. You gotta take what they're gonna give you. You gotta run the ball good, and
That's that.
don't target those corners. I know
That's
that
offensive
Sauce.
scheme.
Yeah, I know Sauce missed that pick that ended up turning into like a 70-yard touchdown. That they were in a cover 3, and he just tried jumping the route and didn't get there. It is what it is. Even though some people think he's fallen off, even though he's playing at a top 5 level. Shout out Billy, love you. But I mean, it is what it is in terms of the Jets. Zach's benched. He's now QB3.
Tim
That's the
Boyle,
nail.
baby.
That's the nail in the coffin in his career. Tim Boyle is not good. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how there's going to be some type of spark to the offense.
Get Mike
He's not
White
good.
back.
I don't think he should be QB2.
Dolphins
I think Simeon should just fucking get the start. I don't know why they're doing. I mean, they're doing the Tim Boyle thing because he knows the offense probably better than all of them. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's not good. Kareem Jackson just got suspended for 4 games.
I think he just wants to see what he's got at quarterback.
Kareem Jackson got suspended again.
Yeah, Kareem Jackson. I just got
Hey, Justin, I got a question for you.
What's up?
Do you stay afloat for Aaron to magically come back on the 24th against Washington?
No, they don't. Aaron just recover.
Yeah, there's no point at this point.
Yeah, they're not gonna unless they miraculously beat Miami, and then you're gonna look at then they got Atlanta, and maybe they play good enough against Houston because I know CJ Stroud is still playing at a high elite level, but
That's a tough.
you,
Yeah.
you saw him make mistakes, so maybe with the Jets defense, if the offense can do something, but again, I'm talking myself into something that's just not gonna happen. There's not. In terms of the whole situation with the Jets, there's not one person to blame. Everyone deserves blame. The QB, the head coach, the offense coordinator, GM.
And then
At the end of the day, there's reasons to why things are the way they are. These aren't excuses. Like I know the injuries on the O line. They've lost a starter every week since week 4 on the OL, and now we're heading into week 12. The wide receiver 2 retired right before the season, and of course we know what happened with Aaron 4 plays into the year. But still, McCole Hardman didn't end up working out. You traded him back to Kansas City because he lost his job to an undrafted free agent. I mean that is what it is. I mean this season's just been shot since Aaron went down. I remember I celebrated the win week 1, but I made it known like I know that this season's gonna probably end up going to shit. Now they kept it afloat for a little bit. They got the 3-3 at the bye week, but you barely beat the fucking Giants, who would not throw the ball with Tommy touchdowns. The Italians down.
Tommy touchdown.
Like And in terms of the Zach Wilson failure, everyone deserves blame on that. I'm not going to say it's split down the middle because I don't think Zach's the guy regardless. He could have went you're going to see all these BYU fucking fans come in here now and be like, if he just went to San Francisco, he would have been a guy, franchise guy. He would have been Trey Lance. He would have lost his job to an undrafted free agent the year after.
He threw a lot of
He's
ducks
not-
at BYU. He had a big arm, but that was just
He had a really good last season at BYU that absolutely skyrocketed his draft stock. I was a fan of his. I liked him as a prospect. It just didn't work out. Guys don't work out. It's not always, oh, the coach didn't do enough. Oh, the offense didn't do enough. It just happens. Sometimes guys don't work. But I will say that offensive coaching could have definitely been better. Mike LaFleur was not a good offense coordinator last year. I think there was definitely a disconnect between him and Zach. And Nathaniel Hackett, I'm fucking tired of Nathaniel Hackett. The only reason I cared that he was here, was happy that he was here, was that Aaron was probably coming with them. And we know how that's fucking turned out. He's been fucking awful. They're on pace to be the worst third down team of all time. They're converting like 22% of their third downs. It's the worst of all time, I think, was the Niners in 2005, and it's at 26. So yeah, if it's third down, they should just practically punt. They're not converting.
So do you got who would you rather draft at that time? Justin Fields?
Oh no, I'm not saying there's an easy. I'm not saying there was a
Bruce just want to
Justin.
see.
Oh no, yes. If you're gonna go back and you're gonna tell me you have to take a quarterback, I would take Justin Fields, and I would have been fine if they took. I watched Zach Wilson get drafted with you. We were chilling in my basement when it happened, and I liked Zach Wilson. I would have been fine with Justin Fields.
Should have taken Justin Fields. I'm not gonna lie.
It'd be like that. I don't know. There was no easy franchise guy to take if you look back at that draft class. Now that draft class, in terms of QBs, is very disappointing. Trevor Lawrence was generational, and he had a great game this past week. But has he really lived up to that generational tag outside of a few games and a huge playoff win?
No.
Like, he hasn't been. I thought he was going to win the MVP this year possibly, and he hasn't been that yet. Zach's all-time bust. You have Trey Lance, who was traded.
hasn't even.
Exactly. Fields has looked solid, but they could move off of him because of how bad that team is. And Mac Jones, we don't even know if he's starting next week. So there wasn't an easy fix or someone that you can look back and be like, oh, they should have taken him. In terms of get fired, there's reasons to fire Saleh. There's reasons not to fire Saleh. The offense is a complete mess. The record looks terrible. Third losing season in a row in the 3 years he's been here. I would say the reasons not to is his side of the ball looks amazing still on defense. They have developed undrafted free agents like Bryce Huff. They waiver wire pickups like Quincy Williams. You drafted the defensive rookie of the year, and he turned into a top 5 corner immediately, which does not happen. DJ Reed looks like a top 5 corner this season, especially. The defensive line, there's depth everywhere. But it's one side of the ball. You're kind of just being a glorified defense coordinator at that point. So there's reasons to move off of him. There's reasons not to. And everything I just said about him, you can also echo to Douglas. They both whipped on the QB, so there's another reason that you can move off of them. Because if you whiff on a QB in this league, the door's right there. That's how it usually goes. You don't get a second chance.
They just lose a lot of winnable games, like down the line, I feel like.
You
lose by 3 points, 6 points, 5 points. It's like they could easily be like have 3 losses this year, and it's just
they should have
like the New England game.
The Raiders, if they beat the Raiders last week, this loss, even though it was ugly, wouldn't have been as bad because they would have been sitting at 5-5 right now, which looks a lot better in terms of if Aaron could come back on Christmas Eve or around then, you would probably be afloat. But now you're sitting at 4-6. The offense is anemic. You lost winnable games like the Raiders, even though again they shouldn't have won that Giants game. They had a 0.1% chance of winning. They pulled the Eagles one out of their ass. Like I'll say that about Saleh too. Is
could have beat the Chiefs though.
They play for they could have beat the Chiefs. They play for him though. I think that team is still behind Saleh even with all the turmoil that's happening on offense. And also back to Douglas, if to fire him or not. I think what's saving him is that 22 draft class. absolutely incredible still.
He was a Josh Dobbs trade away from probably making the Super Bowl. So
I don't know if they would have made the Super Bowl with Dobbs,
If
but
they had
yes,
Dobbs,
in
they
hindsight, they should
Bro,
have traded for something.
yo, we gotta calm down the Dobbs. Bro, been fumbling interceptions, bro.
I don't know.
Bro,
What
he
they
got-
get for Dobbs? What they get for Dobbs? A 6th-round pick? It was something low.
yeah.
It wasn't.
It was a
anything
very
crazy.
low draft pick for a guy
Any
who's
team
got
with
a lot of-
quarterback problems right now, they were Josh. I could see Josh Dobbs was going to be at least a decent. He could just run, bro. Like
Yeah,
Bro.
with Garrett Wilson would have complimented him. He hasn't really had a elite receiver.
who? Garrett Wilson?
No, but I mean, I'm
Oh,
saying Dobbs hasn't had an
elite
elite
quarterback.
receiver to throw the ball to.
I mean,
He's
Jordan
still-
Addison is low key. He
Jordan Addison is nice.
Yeah,
And well, also,
TJ
I think what
But I
comes
mean, like
down
with
to-
the Cardinals, he didn't have anybody. He was putting up numbers like that.
was
So-
Trey McBride there?
I don't think so. I don't think he was
Was-
playing.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember how. I don't.
I think
Again,
they.
the thing is, I think
I know
what
they
happened
started
with,
with Ertz.
with Dobbs is I think Dobbs also just went to again an offensive guy that is going to play to the quarterback strength.
But you guys have Dean Nathaniel Hackett, brother.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he doesn't come in here and make a difference. Again, we could argue all day like what the problem is with the Jets offense. It's just not a good unit. It's broken. The offensive coordinator is not good. The offensive line is on its 13th combination, and the QB is not good. And also, the play calling is fucking predictable. If I had a nickel for every time on first down they ran up the middle of Brees
Draw
Hall,
QB draw.
I'd be
It
so
reminds me
fucking
of,
rich.
that reminds me of the 2021 Giants, like with
It reminds me so much of the Jets in 2020.
Joe
with
Joe
Frank Gore.
Judge. Joe Judge would run the quarterback draw or the running back draw 3 times in his own 10. It's
yeah,
the
it's-
same offensive scheme.
I was at that game. All right, a little mood changer, real quick.
Oh, wait, hold on quickly. In terms of them getting fired or being retained, I honestly don't care. If they fire them, cool. I'll be happy. With whoever they bring in, I'll probably buy into it. They'll go get an offensive guy, go get a new GM. You have a great defense. If you retain them and you're going to sell me on the same thing that this season was, and then you make improvements in the offseason, you go get another wide receiver that can play outside of Garrett Wilson. You go draft a lineman, draft a QB for the future, whatever, and you sell me on one more year with Aaron. Let's see if it works. I'd be down for it because what's one more year if it doesn't fucking work? It's been 12 years already. I don't care anymore. I'm fine with either one. And we'll see how the rest of the year goes. But I'm pretty much checked out. I'm enjoying football, just watching it.
All right. Jesus, yeah, that's how I feel too.
Yeah. I mean, the only bet I hit yesterday was fucking basketball. Shout out Joel Embiid.
Shout out Dylan Brooks for selling me again. In terms of a mood change, real quick, Marcus sent me a post earlier. So the question is, would you give up sex for the rest of your life for $800 million? Now, all right, there's 3 different facets I like to ask this. Well, 3 different versions of this question I like to ask. One, at 20 years old, would you do it?
Nah.
At what age would you be willing to do it though?
How much money?
$800 million.
I mean, that means you can never have kids if you want them.
I mean, at 20, probably not. But at what age would you be saying, all right, like I'll give up sex for the rest of my life?
I think like
for $800 million.
Like 40.
Still too young, brother. That's the man's prime right there too.
Like 65,
I know, but
maybe.
I mean, for
Retirement
800
age?
million, you could do whatever you want. At 40.
Retirement age? I don't fucking
You probably
know.
You probably got 30 years left. You know what I mean? If you were like 60 and got 800 million, what's the point? You know, like
By
got,
65, you need 3
you got, like,
Viagra's to
15
do it up
good
anyway.
years, you know?
Yeah,
That's the
like,
best
yeah.
part, man. The motel vibe.
Give me 65. Give me 65.
65.
65 or 70. My kids will be fucking fed for the rest of their fucking
Hey,
lives.
I
I can
know.
enjoy it for a little bit.
Does that mean like any type of like sexual act or like
we're getting too deep, Brendan. We're getting
you
too
get
deep.
like fellatio? You know what I mean?
I
Because I mean, I can live with that. You know?
for the rest of your life. That's it?
Yeah.
Ah,
know.
you know what? I'd probably say I wouldn't take the money. I'd rather just be homeless, honestly.
You said that. You know what? I
How you?
respect it. I respect it.
How you gonna get the lady? It's like
yeah.
the biggest dilemma.
Be some crackhead.
Brendan,
You know?
how do you feel? How do you feel about Tommy touchdowns? Like on a real note.
I mean, it's Washington. You know, it's
Okay.
it's the if the Giants were 0-15 and Washington was 15-0, we would beat Washington. It's just how it is. I don't have any
Oh, God. Yo, New York owns Washington, bro.
all the
Washington
time.
is
It's
chips.
since I think since I've watched football, I've maybe seen like 5 Washington wins that I can remember. Even
No,
when
it
the
feels
game
that way.
doesn't matter,
Washington.
I think back to like the Chase Young sweepstakes when it was game 7, it was week 17, game 16. We won the game on Ron Rivera went for 2 and we didn't let him in. And we lost the game. It's just or we won the game and then they got the second draft pick. We ended up like 5th.
Yeah, you guys. That's when you guys took Thomas. You guys, honestly, that worked out for you guys.
I like
Chase Young's
Thomas.
No longer a
Hopefully,
commander. Now you got
get
Andrew
well
Thomas.
soon. Andrew Thomas, all pro, only all pro left off of the top 100. In any position, well, yeah, only all pro linemen left off the top 100 last year. But I mean, Tommy DeVito is Tommy DeVito. He played Washington. I mean, he's all right. You know, he seems a little slow on his dropbacks. You know, he got sacked 9 times.
Something like that. I'm curious how he plays the Belichick defense
And
next week.
I don't think it'll be good. I mean, we'll see.
He's gonna get fooled.
I'll be honest. I got to
it's
root for
just-
New England next week. I'm not.
You
I
know,
don't
I
want
mean-
fucking Caleb or Drake May in my division.
I think it's easy. I think it's easy to root for Tommy DeVito. You know, he's a local guy, Don Bosco grad.
Wait,
Bosco,
we don't-
bro.
I mean,
That's
He's
their-
easy to root for. You know, he's a hometown.
Bro,
You know, he's a
Wait,
homer.
wait,
so
we don't give up any information on where we from. He from Don Bosco, Atlanta.
everybody know where he's from. They've been putting that
Hey,
shit all
bro,
over the
you could
internet.
bro, you could Google
He
that,
said-
bro.
He was him and Saquon were doing a video. Like, shout out New Jersey. You know, whatever. I don't know, but I
Brandon.
mean,
What's up?
Half the people on this pod are a fan of a New York team. You're a Knicks fan. Every guest we have on is a Jet or a Giant fan. It's not that much of a secret.
They know where
to be
Tommy's from.
honest with you.
nah, but I mean, he did well.
Spice, what up?
He did well, which makes me a little more concerned for Daniel Jones. He moved the ball better. You watch him get down the field. You know, he's making those tough throws. He's not turning the ball over.
He's not thinking too much.
He's putting the ball in front of the receiver. I mean, Daniel Jones has this habit of hitting him in the back shoulder when they're going forward. If you look at like the Dallas game, he threw one to Barkley that went off his shoulder, and it was a pick 6. You know, he does that often, and that's my problem. He doesn't lead the receiver the way that I need him to. Tommy DeVito is leading the receivers. The offense is abysmal. I mean, he threw 63 sacks this year. Horrible
I mean,
offensive
the line.
line.
Yeah, the line is terrible.
There's no
the line is
receiver-
terrible and hurt. It's
I mean, they don't utilize Hyatt the way I wish they would. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's got great hands, fast receiver. They don't utilize him the way I want him to. But all in all, you know, he's no Waller. Slayton got hurt in that game, but he's still moving the ball better than Jones did with all of these aforementioned players, and that kind of concerns me. I think that's more the concern, more than how well DeVito did. It's how bad Jones played with. I mean, for what it's worth, better company.
Who do you think? Who do you think is? What's the plan next year? Like, who's going to be the QB of the Giants? Do you think it's someone that's in college right now, or do you think it's going to be Daniel Jones again?
Well, it depends on if they win games or not. I mean, I think I do like Bo Nix out there because I think if you're not top 2,
bro.
If you're not top 2, you're not getting Caleb Williams and you're not getting Drake May.
Bro.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if Caleb or Drake May are super realistic anymore. Now, again, they could lose
I like
out,
Penix, but he's an injury-prone guy, and that's kind of a risk. I think 2 ACLs in college is, and he's got a great arm. You know, he's a good athlete, but I think as far as like, you know, reliability, you know, you have a guy who's gotten injured 3 times in 4 years. Or 4 times in 4 years, I think. It's just, do you really want to go down that road again? And I mean, we'll see. If they're there, you know, top 5, I think top 3 is probably going to be Caleb, May, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah,
I think maybe you go Joe Alt. You know, get some protection for next year. I'm a fan of
top
drafting
3. If it's not those 3 that you just named, you got to take a tackle.
That's what I'm saying. Joe Alt's that guy. I like him. There's the
Penn State guy. I can't say his fucking name.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
I always forget his fucking name unless I'm reading it.
I have a strong inclination we'll be top 5. We're just not a good team. I don't think that Giants win another game this year. I mean, I could be wrong. We'll see. They got the Eagles twice, and a couple other tough games.
Well, it's interesting too because they're teams that Packers and Rams did just win, so
Yeah,
they're not in it, but they're teams that you could be vying for a draft spot with.
But-
yeah. I mean, I think the last 3 games you lose all 3 of those. You're not beating LA. You're not
I
beating
mean,
the Eagles.
the last game of the season, Mariota versus Tommy DeVito.
What happened last year? We had who we played? Gardner Minshew.
All right, that was
Giants-
Gardner Minshew. Bro.
Giants still
Marcus
lost.
Mariota is not that good.
It depends on who's playing. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they might be playing for home field though. You know,
Well, that's yeah. It
we'll
depends
see
if
where
they
it's
are or
at.
not.
You know, the Niners are still winning games.
Which I gotta say, Lions, man,
The Lions are 8-2.
resilience.
They got to win.
That-
If
that one
it
season
comes
was
down to a win or a
possible.
loss, I mean,
Bruce really hates that team.
I think that they would be. They could still be playing for home field. I kind of, we'll see. But I mean, the Giants got the Packers, which is maybe a winnable game. It's a average team against a subpar team, and then you got the
Where's
Saints.
Jordan Love? This dude he has like a great. I don't understand him. I don't get it.
He's looked
played the
good the
Chargers,
last
bro.
few
He ain't
weeks,
good.
but he has looked solid the last few weeks.
Yeah.
and
Bro,
Like,
I
he has
think they
those
could. I think they
slivers.
might give him another year.
I don't
he's
dislike
playing-
Jordan Love.
He's playing average. I don't know what he's gonna have a job. I don't know what anybody's saying about Jordan Love, but it don't make sense.
I don't
I
dislike.
don't know. I don't know what his ceiling is. It's just I think he's okay.
I
Keep
mean,
playing the Chargers. He'll
Yeah,
look
bro,
good.
but he got no weapons.
I mean, he got Christian Watson and
Bro, he's on a Packers
and
rebuild
Romeo
year,
and
and he's
guy-
still
the
playing
guy-
good.
The Packers'
Like-
rookie wide receivers are.
I mean, he's thrown too many picks. I think this year. What's he got? Double digits now.
I think it's definitely approaching if it
Yeah.
isn't there already. I'll say this though,
Yeah.
that whole team is young and they're all like. There's a chance they all grow together. It just
And I
comes
mean-
down to how good is Jordan Love going to be.
I mean, he's had a disappointing year in Aaron Jones. That would have really helped
Mhm.
him out a lot if he was healthy
Yeah.
and playing the way that he played the year before. You know, I mean, it's disappointing. You know, for real. I mean, when you don't have a run game, it's hard to get a pass game going.
28 rushes for
Mhm.
102 yards by committee for the Packers.
It's rough.
That was 5 people, by the way. That was 5 different runners of the.
In the last game,
Yeah, that was just his past game against the Chargers. That's how bad the Packers' run game was.
it's rough. That's really
It's
bad.
still 100 yards.
Well, Aaron Jones got
Had it.
hurt too.
But then you look at the Chargers, for example. Okay, Eckler might have been a little bit deficient,
Look like a
but
fullback.
Herbert goes out and gets 73 on the ground. You know what I mean? So he helps out that little. I mean, the Packers.
He
they
had
don't have-
73 on the ground.
Yeah,
he had that
Herbert
one
had
big
73 on the ground. Yeah.
ass run, bro.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right. I've never.
yeah.
Now that you said it.
He's
in
the
turn,
GOAT, man.
speaking of injuries, Joe Burrow
Again.
done for the year. I thought it was just going to be at first because Mike White actually same thing on a Thursday night game against the Colts when he had his big game against the Bengals the very next week on Thursday. Hurt his couldn't grip the ball, couldn't throw it, and it kept him out of the game. But he was sitting on the sideline and looked okay.
A lot of big money.
Similar thing, but now he needs wrist surgery. He's done for the year, and that's
Yeah. It's a lot of big money quarterbacks out for the year. Two in that division, really.
well, yeah. The division lost 2 guys like that.
Yeah, money guys, Jones is out for the year. A lot of
No,
money.
it's
a lot of free money.
A lot of
free
injuries. A
money
lot of
going
injuries
on.
this year. A lot of injuries this year.
Yeah.
In terms of the Bengals, though, this season's shot, obviously, and I'm sure it sucks as a Bengals fan. It's a year of a Super Bowl window that completely wasted.
Hey, get your team nice. Get it picked.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if T's going to be there next year, but this is the year to replace someone. This is the year that.
Nah, don't replace someone. Get a corner, please.
Who the Bengals?
You said Brock Bowers? Yeah.
The Bungles will
All
lead.
right, bro. If you just gonna keep stacking the offense, your defense is literally like, bro.
By
I mean,
defense.
it's a
The corners
There's
are getting baked, bro. They've been getting
defense.
baked ever
there's an
since
enticing
Joe
free
Burrow
agent
been
class
there,
out
bro.
there too. Pass rush wise, anyway. There's a lot of good pass rushers on the.
Yeah, on the
they got
Bengals.
Burrow.
But
They
it's
give up
just
5
the
sacks from 5
corner.
different guys against the Ravens.
Yeah.
You can't do
It's
that.
just
man.
the corners are abysmal, bro. That's how they lost to CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Their corners cannot guard. That's how they lost the Super Bowl.
Did
Yep.
this
Their
team
corners
peak too
can't
early?
do
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, I mean, they thought
You gotta
Eli
get
Apple was a good
corners.
idea. I mean,
At least
think
one, bro. At least
anybody
one.
who takes Eli Apples. Yeah.
Bro, ever since they lost Jesse Bates, they haven't even been the
Mhm.
same.
But do you think this team peaked too early?
I don't know
They
about
made it all the way to a Super Bowl run real quick, then boom, everything's just been since.
I mean, I don't think they.
I think
It's
the injury bug has definitely not helped them.
Yeah,
They could have had a couple more wins this year. They'd probably be like maybe 7-3 if Burrow played every game, I think, which would put them in a playoff spot. But
they haven't done
Again,
anything
that defense,
necessary to
you could
address
score.
the offensive line
yeah.
issue. You know what I mean?
You give 5. You can get 5 touchdowns a game if you're giving up 7. You know you're gonna lose every game.
Well, their line's still a big issue. Orlando Brown Jr. is a big name signing, and they gave him
Yeah,
a
that
lot
was
of
huge
money,
for them.
but he's not the greatest of tackles. And I think if you know who Orlando Brown is, you know
Mhm.
that. But
Yeah.
and he's just a recognizable name, and you would hope that you plug him in and it works. You got Joe Burrow, who's the top 2 quarterback in the world, but
I mean, they just,
it's the unfortunate reality of it. I don't think it's over for them like long term, because like again, I know they could address the defense and make it better, or they could just load up on more weapons, especially if it's very possible they lose T Higgins in free agency.
Yeah, a corner.
No, T. They're gonna
lose him for sure. There's like high
Yeah,
probability.
I don't know if they're gonna.
You got to
retain
bolster
him.
the defense with that
I'm telling
money.
you, bro. I'm telling you, Charlie Jones, bro. I'm
Well,
telling
there's
you, bro. His route running is crazy, bro. I watched his Purdue highlights and everything, bro. He's nice, bro. He's like a Hunter Renfro, like for real.
I like that dude on the corner from Washington. Was it? I was watching that Washington Oregon State game Saturday night.
Mhm.
That corner was lockup. He was on less. He was following somebody. His name slipped my mind, but he was. I think they could go after him. He was lockup. Big kid, fast.
Mhm.
You know, I think they need that over there in Cincinnati.
No, I gotta dive into fucking. I've been watching college this year, but I gotta really
time
dive
of the
into
year,
next year's
Justin.
draft. Yeah.
Time of the year.
I'm looking at Tankathon. It's fucking almost Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
That's what that means. Fucking
Let's
Jets,
do it,
man.
baby.
The Jets are too dang good.
I might have to burn this fucking thing after certain fucking reports came out yesterday, but we won't talk about that since we're going to be on YouTube and social media, and we don't need to bring negative energy to possible allegations that might not be true.
All right, here's my my bet of the day. I've been building this whole entire time. I've been sitting here. If this hits, I'm sorry, this is probably not going to be out in time, but fuck it. Sam Hauser, 3 3-pointers. LaMelo Ball, 3 3-pointers. No one from the Bucks. Fuck the Bucks. This one's the crazy one. I don't know whether to do Mike Conley or Nas Reed, but I'm a gambling man, and I do love the plus 500 odds. Nas Reed, 3 3-pointers. Jalen Brunson, 3 3-pointers.
Yes, sir.
I knew it was coming, Homer.
Julius
pick.
Randle, 2 3-pointers.
Fuck.
I'm
That's
doing
what you
it.
fucked us. That's what you fucked it. Now he's going to play like shit tonight because you put money on him.
De'Aaron Fox, 3 3-pointers.
Kentucky.
I'll take that. I like De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah,
Can't go
Fox
wrong
is
with the
gone.
Kentucky
And
guard.
then all of that
I'm
for
happy. for him.
$5 is $271. And placed. All right, there we go.
Hope Brandon wins that. Before we head
and the
out,
wait. The Commanders, you sold. You should have drafted Deontay Banks. All right.
Yeah.
that is a
Coulda
fact.
had
They
him
should have
at
drafted.
16.
Actually, no.
Coulda
They
had
should have
him at
drafted Christian
16.
Gonzalez. They should have drafted Christian Gonzalez.
Bro,
Speaking of draft picks, I wanna touch on the fact that Kayvon Thibodeau has 10.5 sacks in 11 games. He got a lot of hate last year. They said he was a bust.
Who?
Now he's playing like a dog. Mad people were saying he was a bust. They were saying he didn't live up to the
he was
hype.
not a buzz.
They said he wasn't a game disruptor. They were talking all that.
Oh
He's out there.
yeah. They was talking. It was acting
He's-
like because he supposed to come out the gates crazy. There was
Yeah, but
Early this year, he
He's
started
the
slow.
first.
Come on,
He's
bro.
the first he's the first guy in a Wink Martindale defense to have double-digit sacks. So I got to give him that.
No, they hit. He's
He's
on
out
that,
here.
They hit
He's
on
out here
that
doing
pick.
his thing,
They
and
had
it's
the-
only
they had
11
the
games
Neal
in.
pick.
So.
And he's getting better. Like I'm peeping, like
Mhm.
bro, when he first came in, he
Pass
used to
blocks.
just run the edge.
Yep.
Now I'm seeing he doing a little shiftiness. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, he's elusive. He's tipping passes. He's disrupt. He's a game disruptor, and I'm really appreciating that in him. You know,
No, I was
especially
a fan of.
especially with a
Javon's coming
bad
out.
team. You know, the Giants are a bad team, but he's one of the bright spots. You know,
Atrocious team. Use a
him,
better word than that.
him,
Bro,
Tay Banks.
yeah,
you know,
Deontay Banks would be corner 1 on your team, bro.
he is.
Uh,
He's not bad. I mean,
we would fucking blitz. How bad the Chargers are. We
other
bust
than
through fucking ass.
Garrett Wilson was kind of doing whatever he wanted to him at the end of that game against the Jets. Other than
Bro,
that,
but he was not all right. Garrett
I'm
Wilson was
telling
not gonna have 100 yards if the game didn't go to overtime. Like
I know,
it took
but-
him overtime to get 100.
yeah,
yards, bro.
I know, and that's a lot of time on the field for him. But overall, this year, he's been a strong corner, especially at the gate. So
You think Anthony Edwards is gonna hit some threes tonight?
Yes,
who are they playing?
This motherfucker and
The
his
Knicks.
gambling addiction.
Who are they playing? The Knicks?
Yeah.
I don't really. I'm not gonna lie. I have not watched one Knicks game this year.
You've been missing out, brother.
I'm Philly. I've not been missing out.
It's so fucking funny how you
Watching
two
the
are both
two- I'm
Sixers
watching the-
fans.
10 and what are we? 10-2, 10-3.
You guys, the Knicks would kill you guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Cap.
Why do we chat like that, bro? This is
Just
why-
Because we're fucking Knicks
Bad things
fans,
happen
Justin.
to
We're
us.
Just
This
wait.
is why bad things
Just wait.
happen to us.
Fuck them.
You know, it took Ben Simmons going to the Nets for you guys to beat him ever. That's you didn't beat him from the time he was drafted until he went to the Nets.
I'm a realistic Knicks fan. I know what
He had
to expect.
Hey, you got to be unrealistic sometimes, Justin. In life.
Yeah, I know that's the true New York fan. Like you're supposed to be unrealistic with this dumb.
I
shit,
get that.
bro.
I'm a Yankee fan, so
All right, we
Super
gonna
Mario.
wrap this up.
Yeah.
I'm ready to wrap this up. Anyone got any departing words?
You guys got anything you want to shout out? Any plugs?
Yeah,
Anything?
anything?
Any ladies that
mean-
you want to give your?
Nah, bro.
Chill. I'm married. You could.
I Justin, wrap it up.
We'll plug both of your guys' IGs in the description down below. If you guys made it this far, thank you guys so much. We love you. I mean, you're a true fucking fan of us if you really did. Hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, hit the bell. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok,
Tumblr.
description below.
Fucking
Kick.
Reddit.
We do not have a Tumblr. Kick.
Find us anywhere, bro.
Brendan, Joe, you guys can come on whenever. This is great talking to you guys. You guys
Appreciate you.
both know ball. Love you guys. You guys are great. Bruce, Brandon, as always, pleasure talking
gonna
ball
be
with
here.
you guys.
Yeah.
With that said, go Jets. Peace out.
JTS.